And stay in your houses. Drive the rats in the tank area.
What the fuck is up, everybody out there in Black Flame Land? Yes, we are back. It was a little bit tricky yesterday, so we're sorry we didn't give you your Malevolent Monday fix of Tracks of the Damned, but we are most definitely here now, and which makes it even more special. It's Titillating Tuesday. And I'm sure we'll hear about it from Kyler soon enough. But anyway, get ready for a night of epic going down memory lane to the most iconic that we could find. Now, some of you out there might have some other ones. It's possible. But we found ones that we felt needed to be on our list. And we definitely invite you guys to tell us some of your favorite iconic metal albums from the month of November. All right. But before we get into all of that, we're going to take a quick commercial break to our brothers there over at Villain Arts Tattoos. Check that shit out. You know what to do. If they come to your city, you better get yourself there. If you are a tattoo lover, a pierce something lover, a fan of performance art, and just an array of amazing vendors, it's a great time. Pay the $20, get yourself a quality tattoo, and enjoy the performers. All right. How you doing tonight there, Human Hoof Beast?
I am ready to go. This is a lot of fun, and I think we should do this for all 12 months.
You know, actually, I think once a month, yeah, we could totally do that.
Yep.
Because surprisingly, it's not very hard to find some of these iconic albums have coming out in certain months. Although I will tell you one thing, King Diamond's pretty fucking easy because it's almost always in June, August, or October. And I'm sorry, Kyler. He was drinking apparently when we showed him Titillating Tuesday. Sorry about the dancing nips, buddy. My bad. So what we're doing, guys, is I've chosen 5 iconic albums, and so has Hoofbeast, for 5 iconic metal albums that have been released through the years in the month of November. And as you just heard my wonderful co-pilot there, Mr. Beelzebub himself, but we are going to make this a 12-month thing. So hell yeah, I like that idea. So I guess, I don't know. Do you want me to start first, or do you want to start with one of
Yeah,
yours. Doesn't matter.
yeah, go for it. Go for it. I'm good.
All right. So I really think you guys are going to find some unique showings here because we don't always pick from like, what's considered mainstream or, a lot of it does come from underground. And some of the picks were underground at the time, but, and some of them are a little bit mainstream. And I want to get the mainstream out of the way because this album changed and helped my life at a time where people were hating on dudes with long hair and was getting into metal music. And this was also a very pinnacle time for this artist in particular as well. And you can hear it from start to finish on this record. Of course, I am talking about, if my computer will allow me, Ozzy Osbourne's Diary of a Madman. Now, obviously, when we think about Ozzy in the 80s, especially the early 80s, that is when he got back up on the horse and started his own solo project, of course, with help. But nonetheless, he had what is known as like the most iconic lineup in metal for his particular style, which was Randy Rhoads on guitar, Bob Daisley on the bass, Lee Kerslake on the drums. See, so many people don't know that Ozzy was using studio musicians at the time, which is why Bob never went out on tour, never did any shows with him, and neither did Lee Kerslake either, because one of my personal favorite drummers, Tommy Aldridge, would fill in to do the tours. Let's just start right off. This came out in November of 1981. 1981. Holy crap. And from the first song that opens up with a drum fill that I still use to this very day, over the fucking mountain. When Randy starts chugging along from the jump on this track, this fucking thing sounded so energetic, so powerful. I thought Blizzard of Oz was such a great record too, right? They fucking brought the pain on this record. They literally wrote Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman back to back. And in a period of 3 weeks is what my info into the history of this record. Literally 3 weeks. Lots of cocaine in London at somebody's famous engineer studio up in the mountains somewhere. And they just fucking bashed the shit out. Well, shit, no wonder. They were all high on cocaine. But goddamn. You'll Never Kill Rock and Roll. I mean, that's an anthem that a boy my age and all of us at the time when, parents are saying, oh, Ozzy, metal, oh, evil, oh, just horrible, satanic panic bullshit. Man, those songs were liberating. It made us feel like we were part of something. Although, of course, it never got on the radio. But there were some other tracks on there. Sado, shit, let me bring up the track listing there. How what do you think of this record, Hoofy?
I like Blizzard of Oz a lot more, but because this was Randy Rhoads' last album, like it has some soft spots for me. Like on Blizzard of Oz, we have Mr. Crowley, and I love that song. Is so haunting.
Absolutely.
But I can remember going into the record stores and seeing these albums, these LPs back in the day, scared the shit out of me because I already knew, and especially the live album. I think it's the live album where Ozzy's got some red junk in his mouth.
Oh, yeah. It was actually jelly.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That stuff.
Red preserves.
Like all I had heard is that he was eating bats. And that he had to have rabies shots in his stomach, and So he
because
scared the shit out of me. And Blizzard of Oz, where he's like reaching up with the cross, like
uh,
that's a great photo. Like
but
Ozzy is such a performer. What an
but
amazing performer.
he literally looks like, this is a real piece of art. He looks like he's standing in Aleister Crowley's, living
Yeah.
room. You got the upside down cross in the back, which was like, oh man, did that piss all the dogs
Oh,
off,
hell yes.
and he's covered in blood. So naturally, when I saw this, I was like, holy motherfucker of Satan, I'm in. I mean, it also coined one of his best singles ever, Flying High Again. Every
That's a
stoner
great
or drinker in the
song.
world can get down to that tune.
Yep. To me,
uh,
that's the best tune on that album. And
for sure.
that's the one that was on the radio.
Of course, he did have, one ballady song on there, which was Tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But he was always kind of famous for that. He would always do at least one ballad every record.
Always, yeah.
But man, when the last track of Diary of a Madman hit,
Yeah.
the brilliant acoustic guitar riffs of Randy Rhoads on that song alone, just monumental. And just a down, down, literally sounded like an orchestral piece. You could really hear his classical influence, and the background choirs and all that shit. Man, I thought that was fucking amazing. Boy, we have a shit ton of comments, by the way, so let me grab a couple.
His attack with the guitar, Randy Rhoads, especially on the solos, were just nuts. All right, I'm so curious to see what everybody else has come up with.
Tommy Aldridge rocks. He's like Ginger Baker, but nicer.
Oh, I love Tommy.
Tommy is the nicest motherfucker ever.
Oh, I would love to buy him dinner and hang out with him sometime. He seems like a great, great guy.
Oh, just an amazing dude.
He's in his 70s and he can still throw down.
It has been said that he still hits as hard as he did.
It looks like it, absolutely.
40, 50 fucking years ago. That's insane. With the same precision. And if you've ever seen that man's calf muscles, holy unholy fuck. Just amazing, this guy. Kyler says, gotta love Reaper samples.
Oh, I know. I love them.
Let's see here. Oh, okay. Cody, what's up, brother? Good to have you on the show. He said I was able to buy an original pressing of
Oh
Blizzard
my
a few
gosh.
days ago. Well, guess what? I also have in my possession the original pressing of Blizzard of Oz, and it's currently in my shop.
Wow. That's
Which
so
could be
cool.
for sale. I mean, it is Black Mass Friday week. So yeah, let me tell you, sounds better on vinyl. Better than the cassette tape ever was.
Man, that thing's worth some money. And after Ozzy passes, which hopefully not soon, I really want if Ozzy tours again, I'm fucking gonna go see him. Even if I have to pay $240 for a damn ticket.
I was gonna say, it's like Elvis, you gotta see him one last time.
I don't care if he sits in a chair the whole show.
I don't either. Phil Collins did.
To see him. Yep. I just saw
that was a
Willie
great way
Nelson.
to go out.
I just saw Willie Nelson a year and a half ago. He sat in a chair the whole fucking time. I couldn't give two shits. He didn't even sing that much. But when I saw Ozzy with Black Sabbath in 2015, he was stunningly amazing. He could do everything that he's always done. He was awesome. Loved it.
Absolutely.
All right, that's a great pick. I saw that pick and I knew you were going to pick that one, so I did not. So I'm going to go chronologically with my choices.
Right on.
And my first one is very close to our hearts, but Reaper admittedly you are a little bit closer to this, man. I'm talking about the fucking king with Merciful Fate. Nuns Have No Fun. What a great album cover. I mean, guys, think about this. This came out in 1981, and to be more specific, it came out on, no, 1982. My
Ah,
birthday, November 8th, 1982. How could I not
wow.
choose this? And there we have the king himself right in the middle. Um, this album is excellent. It's King Diamond, unmistakably King Diamond. You've got the riffs are here, just a really really catchy album. It gets a
They were
maybe
truly at the beginning.
yeah maybe not as strong every track, but the first two tracks, and then it ends with a really strong track at the end there. But it's a really good album. I highly recommend. You can still get this on CD. He just re-released it a couple of years ago. It's a outstanding album of heavy metal. It's really, really good.
I can kind of do you one better because you need to get the album The Beginning.
Hmm.
That was the record. Now, technically, that kind of started it off, but there was a record vinyl that was put out called The Beginning. And it is some of those same tracks before they ever hit any of the official albums. So they were almost in their infancy and it was raw. So maybe not well as produced as it was
Hmm.
on those cuts, but it was really interesting to hear King's voice, the range, the power with
Hmm.
no effects, just fucking dry. That man's falsetto is truly the stuff of legend.
I,
Hey, Mousebong, what's going on? And Babylon Sun, never be sorry for being late. You showed up, and that's what counts.
hey, I want to read just a few lines from
Oh,
his
yeah,
lyrics. So
please
from
do.
A Corpse Without Soul. Listen, I'm a corpse. I'm a corpse. I'm a corpse without soul. Satan, he's taken his toll, and he took it out on me. I love that. I mean, think of this, people. 1982, the Satanic Panic was really just getting started. I mean, all the murmurings, and of course, the church has always loved to use anything dark or anything related to Satan or the devil so that they could get more membership and make more money. And here, I imagine they use this a lot.
Any interview that you see, his name is listed on this the dirty the dirty 10, I think it's called, or the dirty something the dirty something list that was pretty much created by Tipper Gore.
Yeah.
And he's been on it and is still on it to this day, as far as I know. He's never been taken off. And we love King. He's always been true. He doesn't mince words. He tells you straight up, yeah, I'm a Satanist. If you're a fan of Christianity and it's good for you, then great. But it's not for me because I can't believe in a God that you must fear and pretty much slaughters people on a regular. So that is seriously his words, not mine.
I want to read a couple lines from Nuns Have No Fun, the title track from the album.
Uh-huh.
Upon a cross, a nun will be hanged. She will be raped by an evil man. Knock spikes through her hands. Things won't come. She won't understand. You're a nun. You haven't had no fun living your life as Virgin Queen. I'll leave it at that. Now, if you guys aren't interested in Merciful Fate and King Diamond as an artist, unholy shit. This is fucking awesome.
Well, I mean, shit. They knew more about the history of the old monasteries and all the nasty bits of bullshit that went on behind the scenes. He was always somebody who was fascinated with that shit. And to think that a cover like that could be made, which is why it was banned in America. That's why it has only surfaced in recent times. The only way you were ever able to get it was through their agency over in Denmark, their page and all that stuff. That was the only way you could get it. Now that's if that you had that hookup, like you could actually do that. Because most parents would not say, "Oh, here, Johnny, here's 25. Get yourself some nuns. Have no fun." Now, Melissa and Don't Break the Oath, well, those covers did not disappoint, but was not as crass as yummy as that.
Oh, not at all.
You know, I think Hoofbeast is sticking that in his spank bank for the day. Oh, hell. Mousewong says, my Merciful Fate shirt has nuns getting cungalinas from evil goats.
Oh, that is awesome.
Classic. That must have been some happy goats. Happy nuns. Happy nuns.
I can't believe I missed them last year. I sure hope they come again. But King Diamond will be through next year.
Yes. Good things are coming from the king. That is for sure. All right. So my number 2, which actually I did want to start sort of semi-chronologically, but I did screw up. So I'm going to step back 1 year. So at least it's not that big of a difference, right? To a true legend, not because he was the best bassist, not because he was the best vocalist, not because he was the prettiest guy, because let's face it, Lemmy is not exactly a portrait of beauty, but he was the original. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I'm going to do what I do. I don't even care if you like it. I'm going to do it. But it just so happened that they were fucking good. So good, in fact, that an album like Motorhead's Ace of Spades is still one of the most widely listened to and bought albums from the 80s and played literally. There's a track or two off of that record that are still played on radio stations to this day.
Definitely an iconic album. Got a band that was truly responsible for making metal a lot dirtier and
dirtier,
a lot more gritty.
Nastier. Yeah. I would definitely say degrading, yes. But it made you feel like he's just a common man like the rest of us.
And it has a lot of a punk feel. So I was into punk a lot in the 80s. Punk was normally about social justice and things like that, whereas metal would take on religion in a different way. A lot of times punk did as well, but punk wasn't as dark. It was more social activism.
Right. It was more stick it to the man kind of stuff. But, you know, he didn't exactly have to say anything and be so outspoken about it. I mean, obviously, if he was asked in an interview, he'll fucking tell you. You know, he ain't afraid. Sitting at the titty bar, drinking a Coke and Jack and Coke. Sorry, said that backwards. And smoking what looks like probably 2 cartons of cigarettes a day. And just not giving a fuck. Just this dirty fucking leather-clad dude, long scraggly hair, mutton chops that, I mean, if we could get a golden pair made in his honor, that would be amazeballs to me. But so many different songs, so much blues. The song Ace of Spades is so thrashy. in my opinion. Like, it's not heavy thrash like we know from the 80s, but some people say that song inspired, and you can't say it didn't for a lot of the thrashers. The song's only 2 minutes and 47 seconds of power, of awesomeness, of kicking you right in the face, and fucking lyrics that you could completely, didn't matter who you were in life, you could identify with it. Jailbait is one of the big tracks off of there. So good, so bluesy. It at some points it kind of like had elements of Kiss in there, like rhythm wise, guitar, drums, but just dirtier. Just never did we ever hear a bass sound like that.
Yeah, really, they're kind of like a crossover band from like 70s punk into metal, and from rock and roll, because Lemmy always called it rock and roll.
Right.
Till the day he died, he called it rock and roll. And that's the way he saw it, and it evolved. And who really gives all that much of a shit, unless we're really trying to focus on metal, because there really is a big difference. We were kind of talking about this with Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin is,
of course, they were more corporate rock. We know that.
An amazing freaking band. Like, I love their albums. I have every one of them. But
I originally was trying to sneak them in because of the song "Immigrant Song," which is an iconic, Norse tale from them. That the Jimmy Page was very, very crunchy with his guitar, very rhythmic, very chuggy, and then of course John Bonham fucking smashing through the ice along the way. But an honorable mention, because this is metal. They were definitely not metal, but they got lumped into metal. I think because they were a heavier form of rock, but not Sabbath, not Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. They took things so much farther. But a Live to Win. I mean, that's like a gambler's, kind of a anthem there. Just every song on this record, super awesome. And of course, Fast and Loose. I think we understand the lifestyle that Lemmy used to like to live. And he lived it to the max. Probably seen more shit than we could ever see in our lifetimes. And it's a great album.
Yep. That's a great choice. I was going to choose it, but you had already let me know you had. So that opened me up for some different ones. My second choice, I had it on cassette. And I saw these guys open for Pestilence when Martin Van Drunen was playing bass still. And then Death came on after. It was Death's second to last show ever, with Bill Andrew, which is a drummer, his older drummer, and man, when I saw Death, Chuck was fucking pissed. I brought this up before. Chuck was fucking pissed. You could tell that band could not wait to get away from each other. But the band I'm talking about is Carcass. Symphonies of Sickness. Now, I had the cassette that had the collage with all the people who, all the pictures of dead people all kind of collaged together. And so I didn't get the CD again until like probably late 2000, like 2008, 2009, something like that. And then it had this on it. So Symphonies of Sickness, arguably the first true grindcore album. It's been listed in just about anybody who's talking about essential grindcore. This album comes up. This, and then Reek of Putrefaction. And my favorite song on here is Reek of Putrefaction. And it's funny that it's on Symphonies of Sickness and not on the Reek of Putrefaction album. But this blew me away. And I had never even heard their music. I didn't even know who the hell they were. And when I met is it Jeff Walker, the bassist, and Bill and was it Mike Amont, who's now with Arch Enemy. Um, they
Ah,
both they both had hair down to their asses, straight, beautiful blonde hair. Like it was Bill's hair was all in his guitar, and he played Ibanez guitars. Now he plays Les Pauls. But this albums to have um, dual vocals. So Bill Steer is super low, and he's really kind of like a backing vocal or an accent to Jeff Walker's higher end death metal vocals. But definitely an iconic album. Anybody who's into extreme metal should know about this. The production on it is absolute shit. And this
swing and a
is an
miss.
this is an album just like we talked, I think it was last week. The Cavalera brothers went back in for Sepultura, and they've gone back in and they have recorded, re-recorded the first two albums that they put out. I so wish Carcass would do the same thing. And by the way, when the Cavalera brothers recorded the new, and guys, go out and buy the album. They're both
Please.
excellent. They sound like
It's
totally
amazing.
different. They sound like totally different albums, but they played them as they were played back then. They didn't improvise on them and change it all up. It's basically the same fucking albums. They just re-recorded everything, and it sounds so good. Like when I bought those albums, I only listened to them once or twice. The production was shit, and I just couldn't get into it. But the ones today, absolute bangers. 4 out of 5 stars, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Really, really good albums.
So basically, even if you were a fan of the original recordings, which no problem, but damn, listen to it through a new lens. You might pick up
Sounds
shit
so
that you
good.
didn't know was there.
Sounds
That's always
so
kind of a
good.
cool thing.
Like we're not people who are afraid to try something different, or it doesn't have to be just the way it was back then. Like I totally applaud them. Like to me, there's so many bands that need to go back. Like I don't like Holy Rust in Peace by Megadeth. They remastered that in like 2004. Why the
Mm,
hell did they do that? That thing was fucking perfect as it was. Master of Puppets was remastered. That fucking album didn't need to be remastered. It needed to be re-released as an LP original, just like it was, so people can hear it
absolutely.
like we heard it in the middle 80s. Carcass.
Fuck yeah, there is always room for that. So for my next one, now we're fast forwarding to 1982, or I've caught up, or I don't know. So there's always been that eternal argument of who basically was responsible for really influencing black metal into its own genre. So of course, they've looked back as far as Merciful Fate. They've looked far back as this band as well, and more often than not, this band is the one that gets that gets picked. And you know what? I mean, honestly, with just a few song titles that aren't very black metal inspired, although it depends. Maybe it was a sexual thing and it was dark and brutal, like Teacher's Pet. Uh, but the whole rest of this record is blasphemy perfection, something that I don't even think Slayer could really hold up against this record. And I'm a Slayer fan, but they're on two different wavelengths. And I gotta tell you, to this day, fucking Venom's black metal record is probably the first real evidence of black metal as a genre, because there were so many excellent elements there. I mean, Don't Burn the Witch, At War with Satan intro, into Leave Me in Hell, To Hell and Back. They even talked about Raising the Dead, Sacrifice, Countess Bathory. I mean, shit. In those times, that was just like, oh, those crazy Europeans, right? That's because they weren't censored. They weren't afraid to sing about what they were interested in. And just very, very satanic of a band. I mean, The Great Merciful Fate, King as well, all during that time, putting their respective stuff out. But this album, legendary in November of 1982.
Cannot argue with that at all. As you saw, I pulled mine out because I didn't know it's one of my honorable mentions. Now I don't have to honorable mention
Dang it! I
but
screwed you up.
it's so one thing that like I like Slayer's Show No Mercy, which came out in 1983, better than it. But these are iconic songs. I never could really get into Venom all that much. Their stage show, absolutely. All of the artistry and the Baphomet pictures that they would put on every fucking album, the risks they took, like the back of this album is this upside down pentagram with 666 in 1982. They had fucking balls. Like they blew Alice Cooper and Kiss out of the water for shock value. Totally blew. I mean, these guys, their stage was always really dark as well. They didn't have it all lit up. And I forgot his fucking name, the lead singer, but his stage presence was fucking crazy, really scary. And the way he played his bass and the way he had to kind of reach up and lean his head back kind of reminded me of Lemmy a little bit, because Lemmy also put his head back a lot when he rendered his vocals.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they were, a little bit influenced by them.
Yeah. But like
they just wanted to make it shreddier and,
absolutely
scarier as it were. So
like the thing I could never get into, like with both feet and say, yeah, this is fucking amazing, is the guitar riffs and the guitar tone. I never really cared for it. Like it was kind of basic and kind of more on the kind of rock and roll side. But I realized it was 1982.
Yeah, they really didn't know what heavy was.
What an important band for all of the black metal bands to come out later on with. It's like what's his name? From Dark Throne, the drummer.
Oh, gotcha. Damn it.
I can't think of. Anyways, I'll think of it in a little bit. How can I not remember it? But anyways, he often refers back, and Dark Throne's albums refer back to just the kick, snare, like the real basic but really heavy, hard hitting drum beat.
It was the delivery.
Yeah.
I really believe that. And his name is Fenriz.
Fenriz, yeah. How the hell did I not think of that?
It happens. See, that's one of the things that I've noticed, because black metal really was kind of the last major heavy thing to come out of Europe after, American death metal bands started touring over there and showing them this heavier kind of music. And I think, and it was obviously hard for Norwegians to get a hold of some of this stuff because their country is so, under religious rule. So that when they were able to go to a concert and, when they would go back, if they had, some instruments, they're like, yeah, we want to write something like this, but heavier, Mm-hmm. And I think that's how that whole thing kind of evolved. But they grew up with that black metal album, and to them at the time, that was probably one of the heaviest things they heard.
That and Bathory albums,
Oh,
and
Bathory, yes.
Hellhammer and Celtic Frost. Those are the main ones. I mean, how many times is Circle of the Tyrants going to be covered? So
Right.
many bands have done Circle of the Tyrants. Great song.
Absolutely. But people keep doing it because, God damn it, they love it. Don't fuck up a classic. So I know people are probably going to give me shit for this, and I don't care because they were also part of the Satanic Panic in a different way. They were more violent. Their stage shows were a bit more vile. They were definitely not hair metal. And let's face it, back then, Wasp was a force to be reckoned with. Were they as heavy as Slayer? No. Were they as heavy as any of the thrashy bands? No. But damn it, they were heavy on a different way, and they were crazy. And let's face it, Blackie Lawless was one of the epic frontmen in America at that time. And for whatever reason, he had no problem wearing a big old bandsaw, blade as a cod piece. So that we come to the Last Command, which has, given their most memorable hit, which is Wild Child. To this day, still very much a very big hit for them, probably their biggest hit. Although Blind in Texas is a real...
That's my favorite.
Holy shit balls. I mean, those two songs, period, make that album magic. But there are other tunes on there as well that I feel were just as strong. They were not a skip fast forward for me at the time. And I was just absorbing... I mean, shit, the 80s was just throwing out so much stuff at once. It's like you go this direction, that direction, this direction, compare notes, and then, you start picking your favorites. At least that's how it was for me. Looks like we got some comments over here. Babylon Sun, yes. Oh, my fuck, yes. Love Wasp and Crocus. Crocus was awesome. I don't care what anybody says. Would I find myself jamming out to them today? Probably not.
One song I would. I forget what it was called, but it was the one that went Screaming in the Night.
Oh.
And they played it on MTV in 1983, 84, 85.
When MTV was actually about music.
And yeah, all you young people have totally missed out. MTV used to be amazing. I would come home and MTV would be on until my parents came home. Fuck watching the Brady Bunch or Voltron or Thundercats. It was time for fucking MTV.
It really was, because you could see classic videos like the old Sabbath ones, real old AC/DC. And of course, you got all the electro stuff from, the new wave music and all that stuff. But damn it, we had Headbangers fucking ball. And I remember having my popcorn, my snacks, my huge fucking soda, sitting there just eating up every bit of Headbangers Ball. Of course, when Ricky Rackman kind of got in there and he was so big on hair metal, Faster Pussycat and Cat this, fuck that, whatever the fuck. These dudes that look like chicks. And man, when he had a full head of long hair, he looked horrible. What the fuck was he thinking? But anyways, he delivered some of the best metal videos. It was the only place. And when MTV was in its prime like that, guys, out there in Black Flame Land, you know what I'm talking about. You almost didn't have to, but maybe you still did, depending upon what state you were in. You now had something else to go by other than an album cover or the radio. If you caught a video, I mean, let's face it, when everybody saw Danzig's Mother for the first time, and he's ripping a chicken apart, and we later find out that it was chocolate sauce that they threw on the chick's belly, but it's black and white, so you don't know, but maybe you do know, but you don't, right? And you're like, oh fuck, let's go get that song. Let's go get that record, bands finally had another medium to get their music out. Now, of course, a lot of politics involved with that video time. If they wanted to try to break somebody, make a quick, $1 million off of a song, all Poison, fucking Motley Crue, all those dicks. That's what they did. They're the ones that got played. You started seeing them in the afternoon when you got home from school. You're like, what the fuck? There's fucking girls on the TV, and I just got home at 3:30 from school.
Oh,
what the hell?
That fucking album is awful. But Motley Crue's first two albums are really, really good, in my opinion. I loved them. When Theater of Pain came out, I was fucking done.
Everyone was done at that point, except for the ladies. And then, of course, the guys that were into the heavier stuff would go with the ladies to get laid.
Yeah.
It's just the way it was. That's just what it was. Oh, no. I'm so sorry to hear that, brother. Babylon Sun says, back then when I was a child, Dad beat my ass when he found my cassettes. Well, shit.
Oh.
That fucking sucks. But you know what? I had the same dad that if it didn't live up to a certain standard, he was like, no. I was always kind of somewhat of the good kid. I mean, I had my moments because I was slick. But, I would slip past King Diamond CDs and stuff like that. Go, oh, well, what's this about? Oh, it's like a Stephen King novel. They're like, oh, okay, this will be great. Tell us all about it. And then I don't. I don't tell them that, his grandma killed his sister and his mother, and there's all kinds of killing and satanic stuff going on. So we found ways around it.
My parents didn't even care what I listened to, just as long as it wasn't too loud and didn't interrupt them.
Right.
I remember I went with my dad out up to the mountains, and we were driving back. He wanted to hear what I was listening to, so I played him Suicidal Tendencies from the self-titled album, and that album's pretty fucking heavy.
What a hell of a record to introduce him to.
Yeah, and so he got to hear Institutionalized, and he was like, well, do you feel like we treat you that way? And I said, no. Because they didn't. They gave me all kinds of freedom and space, but they had no idea. It's just the Satanic Panic did such a great job on me that it scared the hell out of me. So I never listened to Venom. I never listened to Slayer in the early years because I thought that was bad.
Oh, what? What's wrong with a little rain in blood? It's water, just different. Angel of Death. Oh, this was about liberating the Babylonians. Any kind of excuse that we could make to go, oh, this is just bullshit. And for the most part, we didn't know what a pentagram was. If the word devil wasn't there, we didn't know. But when we saw the upside down pentagram, we were like, for some reason, that is the most badass thing I have ever seen. Guys like obviously King Diamond, and then later on Glenn Benton of Deicide, burning the upside down cross into his forehead and all that shit. I mean, at that point, you're just like, I have no choice. I must follow this because Sonny and Cher just wasn't getting it. Sorry, Michael Jackson. Didn't get it for me. Sorry. Shit. Any of those fucking pop stars that were in all the teen magazines that all my friends were into. I'm sitting there listening to tales of death, genocide, and torture. And then I watch a horror movie afterwards. That was life, man. I wish if I could go back, I'd do it again, and I'd take you with me, Hoof Beast. Damn, you
I'd
missed
love
out on
to go
some
back.
classic moments.
Um,
Oh shit!
knowing what I know now, oh my gosh.
Right. Mousebong says, I appreciate my mom being cool as fuck and allowing me to listen to whatever I want. She brought me like every essential hardcore punk album when I was a kid. That is awesome. Babylon Sun says, I was a slick kid too. Thankfully, mom loved all things rock and metal. Her mom was a rock drummer. Oh, and all of her siblings were rock drummers. God damn. So it
Wow.
was truly, truly in your blood there. That's awesome. So I
Well,
know if we could go back in time, shit, would do it in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
well, Reaper, you only have one left. I have three left to share.
I'm
So
not sure.
I'm gonna do two in a row. You just did two in a row accidentally.
Oh no,
So
did I?
I got a little catching up to do.
Ah, damn
So
it. Go for it, brother.
my number three is, to me, kind of black metal perfection. And this came out of 1995, November 17th, 1995. This album is melodic black metal and also has maybe a little bit of thrashiness to it. Their previous album is really, really good as well. But to me, this was perfection. I'm talking about Dissection. Dissection's Storm of the Light's Bane came out November 17th, 1995. This is an essential black metal album. If you're thinking, hey, I'd really like to get into black metal, here you go. This is
Good
an
place to start.
outstanding, iconic black metal album. So, I mean, every single song on this is fucking outstanding. Now, one of the shitheads in this band ended up getting into kind of like Nazi kind of stuff later on, and they were kind of shunned. They did put out, I think, two more
Gee, I
albums
wonder
after
why.
this one, and yeah, so that shit wasn't cool, and for whatever reasons they disbanded. But you can still find this CD. You can still find this on vinyl. Outstanding, essential black metal listening. This is Dissection, Storm of the Light's Bane.
Absolutely. Nazi stuff and black metal. It happens.
Yeah, you got that right.
Well, Western European history is it goes beyond that even. There are bands that hit even darker subjects, like a lot of the different wars and the battles and the takeovers during medieval times and all that stuff too, which is, there's some like seriously crazy shit there. There's a cult all over it, and then I think that's just like, they're like, American history? Well, that's boring. So they write about what they know. I don't know. And things are just a little bit, more interesting, I guess, social wise and whatnot over there. It's kind of crazy.
All right, my number four is from 2009, and I'm talking about Catatonia. Night is the New Day. It came out on November 7th of 2000. I mean, November 2nd of 2009. My favorite song is the first song. It's Forsaken, or Forsaker. The whole album is good.
Everyone I've ever talked to, that is their favorite track. I have to agree. What a banger to open with.
Yeah.
Woo!
So when I saw these guys, they opened up for Opeth and blew Opeth out of the water because Opeth wasn't doing death metal growls anymore. These guys
Mm.
used to do more death metal growls, and they used to be a real doom band in the 90s. And then they switched things up, and now they are like prog metal. And now they're very palatable and all. I mean, they're not anywhere near your favorite band. What is that? Sleep Token?
Mott Blasphemer.
They're not that soft, but they have become a lot more poppy these days. But this album is not poppy. It's very
No.
well produced. It's very, very proggy. So you're getting different types of drum beats, like real tasty drum beats. The way they layer, like the bass is doing something different in most of the things, just like in most prog metal. The bass is a little bit more important and a little bit more of a creative instrument in there. And the vocals are clean, a little haunting, a little on the dark side as well. But outstanding album. Out fucking standing album.
Absolutely. And Mousebong says, "Yep, early doom, much like Anathema." I think
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
way you say
Uh-huh.
it. So that's cool. Mousebong also goes on to say that I have a very special place for Catatonia in my heart. I hung out with them recently after a show, and they were absolutely lovely. Well, we love to
Oh,
hear that, you know, because that's how you know musicians that really give a shit about their fans.
well, I think they're playing Charlotte on December 12th. It's either December 11th or 12th, or it might be Atlanta. So I'm probably going to go see that show. Fucking the last time I saw them, loved it so good.
Nice. They weren't thriving on the poppy stuff too much.
No, this is before they got really poppy. This was like
Hmm.
heavier prog. And then
Gotcha.
it was about 2 albums later. Like definitely the last few albums have been more on the kinder, gentler side. What I'm not a
I'm
huge
much
fan.
like the ice cream man myself. It's like, you know, I don't just stick with one band, and I am so bad at this. I hop around a lot. So
Mhm.
sometimes, you know, I miss some of that shit because when Catatonia came out, I knew who they were. I dug it. I loved it. It was really good stuff. But I didn't know that, you know, they decided to creatively go a much poppier way, and shame on them.
Yeah,
But
it's
you know why? Relevancy.
mhm.
See if they can hang with the young cats and what they're doing. But you know, never sacrifice your sound. Just not
Yeah,
do it.
I would also say like never sacrifice your edge. Like
Yeah.
stay fucking nasty. If you're nasty, stay nasty.
Nasty can take many forms.
Right,
Just
yeah,
don't
yeah.
kill the formula.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Don't go into something different. Yeah. All right, what's your number 5?
Well, everybody out there in Black Flame Land, you know I have to end on a very doomy note. This band, by far, some people hold kind of more as like the modern uh, originators of the official doom sound. Yes, Black Sabbath gave us. I mean, they pretty much single-handedly created it, but these guys took it further in a time where, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of people doing it, but surely enough, there started to be more popping up as they went, and I'm pretty sure that Hoof Beast has got this record. Candlemass Nightfall, 1987.
That one didn't come up for me. The one that I got was Ancient Dreams.
Ah,
And Ancient Dreams came out
no
on
kidding.
November 23rd, 1988.
Ah, that's a sick ass album too. Fuck. Well, now we
This
have to
was
talk about both
this,
of them.
well, this was my honorable mention.
Okay, there you go. Um, so this was their second album, as I understand.
Yep. Mhm.
Because, like I said, I did a lot of sampling of different bands, and hold on here. I want to pull my notes up. Hello.
So this is the first album with Messiah
Correct.
on vocals, the one you've chosen, Nightfall.
Absolutely. So just a little bit, behind the scenes there. Obviously, they're a Swedish doom metal band. Hello, Sweden. You guys have like all the hit makers. Damn. They just really do. Released on this day, November 9th, 1987, through Access Records. They were actually dropped from their original label that they put their first record out on. And it also includes their, like you said, the new vocalist, Messiah Markulin. Hopefully I said that right. Whose decisions became instrumental during the production and release stages of the album. So vocalist had a lot more to do with it. Two singles released from there were At the Gallows End and Samaritan. Samaritan, I absolutely love. That song fucking rocks balls. I will forever rock it out. And it's not that I can only take Messiah's vocals so long before it's like, I need to switch to something else, because his voice is so powerful that it's like, okay, I got to put it down for about 5 minutes. Let me go eat a fucking sandwich, come back, and finish the record. And you definitely get that with this record. They meant fucking business. The riffs, the just astounding guitar solos, lyrics, just so fantasy. Which is something, I think the doom genre really needed, because obviously everyone already associates the occult with doom, but man, there's nothing wrong with going Dungeons and Dragons style, or, some kind of, how many times has the word wizard been used? So, they brought us a lot of really cool tales that were almost kind of like epics, and this record fucking delivered.
I think this might actually be now that I think about it, might be the second album with Messiah. I think it's their third album. I think so. But man, that album is fucking amazing. Like their first 4 albums were just stunning. The first one, and then the next, the current vocalist is the vocalist on the first album. And then Messiah came in for the next 3 or 4. So.
Absolutely, man. Definitely cemented a legacy that so many bands have kind of taken and have, taken it in different directions. Some people going back, Iommi is the riff master general. We know that. But damn it, the guitarists for this band, their riffs are in some cases, it's like really taking the sound of what modern metal was at that time and doomifying it, because it wasn't playing out of orange amplifiers. They weren't using fuzz pedals. It was like metal shredding guitar, but doom style. And I'm telling you, if you're not a fan of Candlemass, which I know most of you probably are, man, go back and revisit those first few records. Shit. So good. Heavier on a whole nother level. And I had to be my top.
I would say that Nightfall and like their second, third, and fourth albums were inspired by Ride the Lightning a bit, and how a lot of the songwriting and how the guitars and how things were layered. And I would also say Master of Puppets quite a bit. So it's these albums are like take a more operatic singer in Messiah and
Oh boy, what a range.
take Master of Puppets, Ride the Lightning type of arrangement and tone, but then add Black Sabbath's Doom to it, and
Right.
then you have Candlemass.
You know,
I
I bet you they probably even sat around and said, what if those two albums, like you said, Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets, were done slower?
Mhm.
You never know. They might have been like, hey, that's that Metallica song, right? Yeah, watch. I'm playing it really slow now. They were probably like, Eureka.
I couldn't listen to Messiah's voice in like the early '90s, late '80s. I just couldn't take it. But now I can listen to it, two albums back to back, no problem. But back then I too had a hard time with his operatic. I would kind of make fun of it a lot, but I loved everything else about it. But now I've fully embraced, I have for years, fully have embraced Candlemass.
Oh, absolutely. And Mouse Bong says there's a bonus one. Motorhead ST came out November 8th, 1980. Which one was that? Shit.
Yeah, I saw there was another Motorhead on there. So I didn't think it was quite as iconic, so I
Not
didn't
as
have
iconic
it.
as Ace of Spades.
No, yeah,
But
nobody.
still, that's awesome. We at the beginning of the show, folks out there in Black Flame Land, we challenged you to tell us some of your favorites from November. So thank you, Mouse Bong. That was awesome.
Oh yeah. And
But,
it comes to my last one, my number 5, is a band that I fucking love. This is another album. It came out on the same day as the Catatonia album in 2009.
wow, what a
Same
year.
day. And I saw these guys on this tour. It was outstanding. And I'm talking about Nile.
Oh, yeah.
Tho-
I did see that.
Yep. Those whom the gods detest. This fucking album I fucking love as well.
Excuse me.
Like every one of these, I have every one that I had chosen, like almost all the iconic ones that you can find online that were released in November. I have like for almost all of them. Definitely all of the Aussies, or the one Diary of a Madman. So many of them. But so if you're not into Nile, they really pride themselves on having an Egyptian type sound. And I forget what they call it, but there's even a name for it. But they make you sound like you're going back where there's King Tut and mummies abound.
Oh,
and,
wow.
the pyramids are being built. But these guys they have the fastest song I have ever heard. It's not on Those Whom the Gods Detest. It's not on this album. It's on, the song is called Cast Down the Heretic. Fastest fucking drumming I have heard in my whole life for the first, I think it's 17 seconds. It's just blistering. I don't think there's anything faster that I have ever heard. And that drummer, I think he's from Hungary. He is outstanding.
Dang.
But they have two vocalists. They both do low, but they both do sound a bit different. And they will slow it down. They change the tempo a lot. So a lot of it is real heavy death metal, and then they'll slow it down even more. And like when they're doing real slow, deliberately slow chugging riffs, the double bass will just be going like in the back. And I love that kind of layering. A really fast double kick with real slow chords. Yeah, I love that.
Hell yeah.
So this album is like you can sing along to it. Like their choruses are just outstanding. I saw them again. They headlined and Incantation opened up for them about almost 2 years ago. I saw them and they were great. They've since lost the vocalist that they used to have, one of the second ones, but now they've got this younger kid, and It sounds like his voice was a little strained, but he did all right. His guitar playing was great.
And it seems like all those bands, coming out around that time really had a hard time keeping their members, like original members. Happened a lot across the board. Lots of guitar swapping, bass player swapping, drummers. Well, that started to happen a lot too. As we know, Gene Hoglan told us they were doing it all over the place, whether it was on a high level of, professional touring or, the underground. It just happened a lot. And it's like when they finally do get those just right guys to fill the slot, that's when they really click and the magic happens. So it definitely sounds like in Niall's case that maybe they don't have the right guy when they switched.
Maybe not right now. Yeah, right now I would say not. His voice was thin. Like, it sounds like he hasn't been doing death metal vocals for very long, and he was really
So he's a little bit new to it.
Like, he doesn't have the muscles in the vocal folds quite developed yet. But I mean, he was good. I had a great time.
Nice.
But I think a lot of bands break up. Like, those were some really lean years from like 95 until about 2003. It's like when Lamb of God came on, and then we had Mastodon with their albums, and then you saw metal really come back. Not new metal, but metal was really made another surge, and then we had another explosion of extreme metal bands in the 2000s, in those eras, which is really, really good. But excellent album. Niall's been around for a long, 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 long time. So this album is fucking amazing. Go get it, Niall.
Yep. I'm gonna have to go listen to that track as soon as we're done.
Yeah. Blasphemous.
Oh yeah. Gojira. It was like new wave. I agree with you, Mouse Bong. And it was a good wave. It was like finally the best of the underground finally got their day. And for some of them, it was 10 years of being a band before it happened. Nothing wrong with that. But as long as they continue to keep putting out good shit, man, that's all that matters. Sorry, guys. I'm a little under the weather here.
My only...
Oh, goodness.
My only honorable mention that we haven't hit yet is Kreator's Coma of Souls. This is my favorite Kreator. This is my favorite Kreator album. I saw them on this tour. They were fucking outstanding. They had a really cheesy band open for them. It was an American cheesy band. They fucking sucked.
Isn't that how that usually goes, though?
Yeah, I can tell Kreator was forced to have this band because they were nothing. They were not like Kreator is kind of like speed metal, thrash metal, and like Miles's vocals are kind of like black metalish as well, real fast. But this album is fucking amazing. It came out on November 6th of 1990. Kreator, Coma of Souls. That's my only honorable mention because we hit pretty much everything else that I thought was noteworthy. This was a hard one to leave off because this album is really, really,
it's definitely a thing of beauty. What actually dictates a honorable mention is if we have a full list, but yet it was just as good as any of the ones we had listed on our list, then what you do there is use it as an honorable mention. That's pretty much what I go with if I've run out of room.
Yeah, and something about like December is going to be a hard one because a lot of bands don't like to release in December. But there are some good ones. I've already kind of previewed into it.
I have too. Yeah. I'm chomping at the bit. Yeah, honestly, Mousebong says, can we do a Doom night? Well, sure. Why not? If it was released in December, shit, we can do it.
Well, Oh, we could just do just an essential Doom night. Have we done that yet?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe about
So
2.5, 3 months ago.
D is for Doom. So December, shit. Let's just do best Doom records released in the month of December. We can do that shit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Man. Hopefully, none of you out there are getting head colds like myself because I now sound like, what did I say earlier? Yoko Ono of metal.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
God. Trust me, I hate the sound of my voice right now. It totally sucks. And we appreciate you, Mouse Bong. Doesn't matter. We love you. Nice. We will definitely get into the month of December once it hits. So, from all of us here at Tracks of the Damn Show, we fucking love you guys. Absolutely. Every time. Just fucking chilling and talking about metal. I mean, there's nothing better in life. And we connect and you teach us stuff just like we teach you stuff. Shit. We fucking love it. And we totally hope that you guys have a fantastic day of giving thanks for what you have. If you get anything out of that day, just be thankful for what you have and what you don't have. That's all I've ever done. And a badass meal. It's the great indulgence. Because I know my belt's probably going to go, oh, let me go. As soon as I get into that fucking, somebody makes sausage, stuffing, and I'm down for the count. I don't know what it is. I love that shit. I mean, I know obviously you don't partake of the devil's meat, but man, it's killer.
I've already got it. I've got it's a company named Quorn, Quorn, and they make this white meat fake turkey. It's not turkey, but it's really
okay.
good. Yeah, Kristen does a really good job.
Hell yeah. So, which means it actually tastes good.
It tastes really good. Like they're on point with this. Absolutely. It's how I remember. It's been
Awesome.
31 years. So
that's amazeballs. I've actually had tofu turkey before. It's okay.
No, this is different. This is really like this tastes exactly
Sounds different.
Like the white meat. Yeah, it's really good.
Awesome. But yeah, however y'all do it, man, fucking do it. Awesome. Have a good time. Crack open a fine bottle of some bourbon or wine or whatever the hell it is you like to get into. I don't give a shit. Just stay home, enjoy the day, fucking work, forget about it. Just enjoy it, enjoy your families, and most importantly, have a horror marathon. Watch a fucking boatload of classic horror movies, rock you some fucking killer ass tunes, and if you guys get a chance, there is an epic, and I mean epic, Eli Roth Thanksgiving horror film, the most legit Thanksgiving horror film that is currently in theaters. There might be a chance it could be on a streaming service of some sort. Every review that I've heard about this, it is the best holiday horror flick that puts like every stupid like Christmas horror movie to shame. Not that we don't like those, but no one's ever did it Thanksgiving style. So, let's see, we got one more. Oh, and thank you too, brother. We appreciate you, Paul. Always tuning in. Oh yeah, gotcha, for sure. Hell yeah. So, like I said, and definitely enjoy the rest of your week. Tomorrow night, I have the great, legendary underground special effects artist, Joe motherfucking Castro, responsible for the Vengeance movie and Terror Tunes and so many other great films that you guys will be like, oh shit, that was him. He's just a wealth of knowledge. If you're a fan of how practical effects work, tune in tomorrow night on the Underground. If I have not died, and we will roll you right here into the holiday for the next couple days. And if you got to give somebody an elbow or a middle finger or a forearm to the face on Black Friday, do it. Fuck those assholes. I hate that shit. No one is more important than yourself. That's just the way it is. Oh, and of course, if your family's with you, they're important too. Sorry. But thank you all so much again. And we will definitely see you next Monday. And the most important thing, toast some fucking metal, unity, and hail Satan. But always stay heavy.
All residents, go in and stay in your houses. Drive the rats in the tank area.